So there's this really serious warning making the rounds right now. But here's the twist. It's not coming from some outside threat. Nope, it's coming from inside the Pentagon itself. And it's painting a picture of a world that's right on the brink, in a desperate race against time. The crazy part? The enemy they're talking about? It isn't another country. It's a process.
A 1939 moment. Wow. Just let that sink in for a second. 1939, the year right before the entire world was thrown into World War II. This isn't just some dramatic line from the new Secretary of War Pete Hegseth. No, this is a full-blown warning, a massive red flag about just how dangerous things are getting on the world stage.
So, this obviously brings up a huge question, right? And that's what we're going to dig into today. Why on earth are they making a comparison to one of the scariest moments in modern history? And, maybe more importantly, what kind of massive shakeup could this trigger for the most powerful military on the planet?
All right, let's jump in. Here's our game plan. First, we'll get to the bottom of this 1939 moment warning. Then, we're going to look at what's being called the Pentagon's pace problem, basically why it's so slow. After that, we'll check out Hegseth's wild plan to fix it all. And finally, we'll connect the dots and see what this means for the future of warfare.
Okay, so first up, that 1939 moment. And let's be super clear here. When Hegseth says this, he's not just being poetic. He is literally drawing a straight line to the months right before World War II, a time when countries were frantically building up their armies for a war everyone felt was coming. And he's saying, that's where we are right now.
And this warning? It's a direct shot at what's happening with America's biggest rivals. The feeling is that they aren't just upgrading their gear. No, the fear is they're actively gearing up for a major conflict. And the biggest worry of all? They're doing it fast, maybe faster than the US can keep up.
Which brings us right to the heart of the problem. According to Hegseth, America's biggest, most urgent threat isn't another country's army. It's an enemy hiding in plain sight, deep inside its own walls. The Pentagon's own unbelievably slow bureaucracy.
Yeah, you heard that right. It's the paperwork. For decades, this has been the Pentagon's Achilles heel. One Secretary of Defense after another has pointed it out. We're talking about a gigantic, complicated, and mind-numbingly slow system for getting new weapons, a system that is totally out of date for the 21st century.
And if you want to know just how slow, look at this number. 300 days. That's how long it can take just to get a single piece of paper approved that says, hey, we need this new thing. We're not even talking about ordering it yet. This is just to get the request approved. And this timeline just lays out the painful reality of it all. You've got a system that was basically designed back in the Vietnam era. So by the time something actually gets from an idea to a soldier's hands, years and sometimes decades have gone by. I mean, the tech can be totally outdated before it's even used for the first time. It's wild. So, to fight this crazy slow system, Hegseth is pushing for a total, radical overhaul. We're talking about a new blueprint designed to basically shatter the old way of doing things. The goal is to pump some real, wartime-level urgency right into the Pentagon's veins.
This right here shows you just how big a change we're talking about. The whole philosophy is shifting. It's moving away from the old model. You know, slow, super cautious, afraid to take risks, and only working with a few giant companies. The new idea? It's all about speed, cranking things out in high volume and being way more agile.
So this whole plan is built on 4 big ideas. First, give companies bigger, longer contracts to make them want to build stuff faster. Second, just slash the red tape. Let the people in charge actually make fast decisions. Third, stop relying on just a few big companies and bring in smaller, faster tech startups. And fourth, and this is a big one, if a piece of tech already exists out in the world, just buy it. Don't spend 10 years trying to reinvent the wheel.
And this quote, man, it really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? This isn't some abstract problem about spreadsheets and budgets. This is about people. It's about making sure that the men and women on the front lines have the absolute best gear we can give them, not 10 years from now, but today.
Which brings us to this key idea he's pushing called the speed of ingenuity. Now, the concept is actually pretty simple, but in the world of the Pentagon, it's revolutionary. It means that as soon as you find a piece of tech that works, you don't form a committee to study it for 5 years, you just start making it. Immediately. I mean, look at the war in Ukraine and how they've used cheap, off-the-shelf drones. That's a perfect and pretty brutal example of why this matters so much.
So, all of these ideas, all these big changes, they all lead right back to where we started, that chilling 1939 warning. This isn't just about making the Pentagon work a little better. This is about a fundamental shift, about getting America ready for a completely new kind of global fight.
So when you boil it all down, the big picture goals are pretty clear.
It's about being 100% ready for a fight, no excuses. It's about being able to make everything you need right here at home, so you're not scrambling for parts from other countries in a crisis. And it's about being smart enough to find the next great idea, whether it comes from a giant lab, a college dorm, or even someone's garage.
This chart really paints a picture of what they're trying to do. See, right now, it's dominated by a few huge contractors. You know the names, Boeing, Lockheed Martin. The goal is to change that. They want to bring in more small tech companies, more startups, create a whole ecosystem where everyone's competing. Because if you only rely on one or two companies for something critical and they have a problem during a war, well, you're in big trouble.
And that really leaves us with the million-dollar question, doesn't it? The plan sounds urgent, the vision is pretty clear, but the challenge, it's just massive. Can you really reform a system this huge, a system that was built for the Cold War, fast enough to stop the next major conflict? Honestly, the answer to that question could define what the world looks like for the rest of our lives.
Well, what do you think? Can it be done? If you found this deep dive interesting, make sure you subscribe to Today in the Military World. We'd love to hear your take in the comments. Thanks for watching.